How's it going, everyone? It's another week, and that means another Stellar Blade update. Alright, that's a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but it really does seem like Shift Up has been dropping these Stellar Blade updates left and right, and best of all, outside of the 2 crossover DLCs they've done, all of the DLCs have been free, and this is yet another surprise update for the game, and it's bringing forth 3 new epilogues for the game after you complete the game, giving you some insight into the game, even beyond the initial conclusion. So we'll talk about that, not too much to dive into. At this point, I haven't seen the new scenes yet, but I do want to give you guys an update on that. We've got an update on a couple of other things. Silent Hill F sales numbers. The game is seemingly doing fairly well in Konami. I really do feel like a bit of a resurgence for them, so we'll talk about that. And an update on Oblivion Remastered. That physical release will be coming out in just a couple of weeks. And the price point, really good on that end as well. We'll get to that at the end of this video. Here's what Shift Up has said about the Stellar Blade update that is dropping. By the time you guys are watching this video, the update should be live. After one ending comes another beginning. Explore 3 epilogues that reveal the lives of Eve and the people of Zion following a specific ending. They also know PC 1.4.1 new update details when using photo mode via Odyssey 3D Hub. Screenshots will now be saved in the screenshots folder located in the Stellar Blade executable directory. Fixed an issue during the strange signal request where players could not interact with the network device in the scrapyard after completing the orbital elevator story, preventing quest progression, and various other bug fixes. Again, these 3 epilogues, this is on top of the new content that they dropped last week where there were new quests in the billboard that has been rolled out as well. And given that this is a year and a half after the game has come out, man, it is great to just see them continuing to do updates for the game. And if you, in all honesty, if you look at all of the free updates that this game has rolled out over the course of the last year and a half, couldn't you have bundled all of those updates together in some sort of expansion, released it for $10 to $15 and monetized the game that way? You can essentially look at it as, yes, they could have monetized the game that way, but they decided to forego on that and realize, hey, Shift Up is still making waves, Stellar Blade is a brand new IP, how about instead of chasing that revenue, maybe this didn't even go or enter their brain, they didn't even think of it, but it was a potential there, but instead of chasing the potential revenue that charging for these updates could have been, they're like, hey, let's build goodwill. Stellar Blade 2 is eventually gonna happen, slated for 2027. I know there's that rumor of before 2027. At this point, 2027 seems to be the earliest, and 27 would be an incredible turnaround time for a game of Stellar Blade's magnitude, given that a 3-year development cycle is phenomenal these days, when most developers 5, 6, 7 years for Naughty Dogs, development studios getting iced for a decade, 3 years, even 4 years. Even if Stellar Blade 2 comes out in 2028, that is still a massive success. A 4-year turnaround time is phenomenal in this era of gaming, especially when Stellar Blade 2 is looking to be more focused on the narrative side of things, and they are looking to improve the game in various areas. And it's gonna be a bigger project, at least one would have you think that, but they're continuing to do these smaller updates. I would imagine it is a smaller team working on these updates, but man, it is great, and I would imagine that this epilogue and the scenes tied to the epilogue, chances are it is going to tie into Stellar Blade 2, which, it's still gonna be a ways away from getting the official reveal of that, but I wouldn't be shocked if we get maybe a teaser trailer in 2026, setting up a 2027 release. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility whatsoever, and, maybe that's pushing the cart before the horse a little bit too much. I still think there's room to do more crossover content. I think you can still do 1 or 2 more crossover pieces of DLC before we get to Stellar Blade 2. I think there is the opportunity to re-release the game in some sort of complete edition, physical release, get all of the content on disc, and I think a lot of people would go crazy over that. And this is one of those games that, because you've built so much goodwill with it, people would literally re-buy the game. People that have the game digitally, they would buy the game again if they could get a physical copy of the game with all the disc, a new cover art, things of that nature. I think there's a lot of money to be made in doing something like that and continuing to do a couple crossover content. You had the complete edition come out, maybe a couple of other crossover content, and I do get it's a little bit weird having a complete edition that's out there already and then releasing more content for the game. is a little bit jarring in terms of you're selling a complete edition and then it's really not complete, but you get the idea. Maybe they're just gonna forego on doing any more crossovers and save that for Stellar Blade 2. Whatever the case may be, we've got yet another update for the game. Update 1.014.001, and it is a version 141 title update, and including 3 epilogues that reveal the lives of Eve and the people of Zion, so check that out. Couple of other quick notes to make. Silent Hill F has already cracked 1 million copies sold, and this is including the early access period where people were able to buy the digital deluxe edition, get the game 48 hours early, but 1 million copies for a game of the size and scope of Silent Hill F, I do feel like is a pretty good number. I think there was some talk over, you know, the lackluster Steam concurrent player count numbers, and I think it's always important to contextualize data like that. Silent Hill F is actually right around the same ballpark as Silent Hill 2, and Silent Hill F is one of those games that I think over time it could definitely find more and more of an audience, especially, you know, it's a $70 game, and on top of that, it is coming out in a period where a lot of big games are coming out. Borderlands 4, Final Fantasy Tactics, Digimon, Ghost of Yote is about to come out. It's coming out in the midst of all of that. Like, as far as this year goes, the last month and into this next week, probably the busiest period of gaming in this entire calendar year, and I think Silent Hill F selling 1 million copies, a fairly strong number for that, and hopefully this continues the momentum of Silent Hill, and Silent Hill is a franchise that is here to stay. I have been playing through Silent Hill F. I love the game from an ambiance narrative standpoint. I think playing it with Japanese voice acting is ideal for this game. I think the tension is fantastic. Combat, I'm not too crazy about it. I'm not gonna lie, not too crazy about the combat, not a big fan of it, but again, for my money, when it comes to a horror game, the ambiance and the tension are absolutely paramount, and I think they knock it out of the park with Silent Hill F, and narratively, I think it's incredibly compelling. About halfway through my playthrough of it, and I do know that this is a game that you do want to play through multiple times to get the entire gravitas of the story, but we'll see how that goes. A lot on my plate right now as far as games to play, but I am enjoying my time with Silent Hill F, and glad to see the game has cracked 1 million copies sold. Lastly, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, the physical deluxe edition, will be out on October the 13th. Best of all, a $39.99 price point. Look, whenever we get a physical release and it's only $39.99, I gotta give that a shout. That is a phenomenal price point for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, and while the remastered edition of Oblivion certainly did have its issues from a technical standpoint, that seems to be something that you just kind of have to expect when it comes to a Bethesda open world game release, and I get that this was done by Virtuous, but you get the idea. Oblivion is still one of the most iconic games of all time. Getting it remastered, getting a physical copy of it, I think that's tremendous, so great price point on that, and this is the deluxe edition, so that's awesome as well. With the physical deluxe edition, you get the Armor of Order and Armor of Cataclysm, Weapons of Order, Weapons of Cataclysm, and access to the digital art book and soundtrack as well, so some good stuff there. $39.99 on that, and it will be out October the 13th, but that's gonna do it for me. Again, Stellar Blade gets another significant update, this one expanding the ending with new epilogue content. Incredible to see that. Silent Hill F cracks 1 million copies sold, and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is officially coming physically, and that's out on October the 13th. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.